All right, let's get in here and know that some people may be viewing this recording or they may join us and catch up right here. So the question for you, and I'm asking you specifically as Toastmasters, why? Why do organizations, profit, not for profit, all over the place, why do they spend billions, I mean billions each year on consulting? Why are consultants paid such great money and they're brought in all over the place? It's not just one place that brings in a consultant. Everybody does consultants. So Carrie, why do people hire consultants?
To get new perspectives on how to do things.
Oh my goodness. Very good. Very good. Dennis, why do people hire consultants?
It is more cost effective to bring someone in who has experience in a particular area than it is to pay for the training that would give you someone internal with the same expertise. And once the consulting is finished, they go away. You don't have to keep paying them.
Yes.
Although we all know the definition of a consultant is someone who borrows your watch to tell you the time and then walks away with your watch.
Walks away
With
with the
the
I'm cracking up. As you know, a lot of companies right now are doing layoffs and everything like that. And they're also saying, and we're getting rid of our consultants. And I, at AT&T, at Stanford Healthcare, at Bank of America, all these places, the consultants go away for 6 months, have a little vacation, spend their big bonuses, and then we bring them right back. And
Like that.
because the wisdom, the knowledge, and the feedback. In Toastmasters, we live on feedback. That's what we pay our speakers. They speak for free, but they are paid in feedback. And feedback is so important. Advice, this consulting, this advisory role is a powerful role. It is not a role with authority, but it is powerful. And throughout history, it has made a difference from everybody's to kings to companies. All throughout history, advisors have made a huge difference. And they give that perspective that we mentioned, that feedback, and they have that expertise that we can go for. So that's why consulting is important. And when we look at what we're doing with Toastmasters in this role, the idea of club coaching, we're starting with that idea of a consultant. So today, we're going to talk about club consulting for all the clubs within District 57, what's available for them. And in part of that, we're going to talk about getting a club coach, but what if you don't want a club coach? That's a big question for you. We'll take a quick look at that. We'll look at what a club coach is required to have in order to be eligible to be a coach for your club. And then we're going to flip the script and say, you as a club officer who wants a club coach, you and your crew need to meet certain requirements. And I want to save a lot of time for Q&A, and we'll do that and then close things out with that as well. So what is the mission of the district? Anybody? 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 Dennis, Carrie?
I happen to know that the mission of the district is that we build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence.
And achieving excellence. And that's fantastic. And that second half of that mission is what we're here about tonight. So again, well, of course we want to expand clubs, but we want to make sure that the individual Toastmaster in an existing club has a great experience. So the district supports new and existing clubs to make that happen. And to do that, we give clubs free advice. And who is your primary consultant, your primary free, no charge consultant when you are in a club? I'm waiting. Wait, you know what, Carrie? I expect you to answer this. Dennis never had this role. He skipped this grade in school, I believe.
to give advice on how to do things better.
Yes, but who within the district, which role is the primary free consultant for clubs?
Leaders from other clubs.
Getting closer. Dennis, would you like to try, even though you never did this?
That would be the area director. And I did, in fact, serve as area director in 2020.
Oh, I thought you skipped that role. Well, congratulations. And you know how it is. And being in Toastmaster a long time, you see different area directors come in, and what do they do? Beginning of the Toastmasters year and due by November 30th, what do they do?
Visit
They do a club visit, and what is the outcome of that club visit?
a club visit report.
A club visit
Report.
report. And Dennis, I'm going to ask you, because I know you've said this before, when the area director is sitting down with the club officers and does a club visit report, what would you call that?
What would I call it? I would call it feedback. I would call it consulting.
In terms of polling, what kind of polling is involved?
It is indeed push polling.
Yes. And what is a push ball poll, Mr. Dawson?
A push poll is where you ask a question in such a way that you are trying to get a particular answer from the person that you are polling.
Yes. And so, hey, do you have an open house scheduled? You do, don't you? These are the types of things that the consultant will ask you for free. And that is very important because that's a source of wisdom that might give you perspective where you as a club, you might be struggling a little bit, but when you get the question and realize the gaps in your own plan, you can move forward with that. And this is all part of that. Now, the area director is there to give you free advice, the division director as well. The district officers can come in and give you free advice, and other clubs can give you free advice as well. So when we talk about the formal club coaching process, know that there's free consulting already going on, and maybe that helps. Maybe that's all you need. But if you still need a club coach, this is what this evening is about. So when we talk about what's going on with the club, we have to look at the mission of the club. My favorite verbiage in all of Toastmasters is this mission statement. And since you know this one, let me just do a quick check to see if anybody else has joined the call. No, it's just us three amazing people. So we provide a supportive and positive learning.
Learning.
Yeah, in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. It still gives me shivers. If a club is fulfilling this amazing mission, if this is indeed coming to life within your club, that has an impact not just on Toastmasters and your stats to your area director or the district director or Toastmasters International. It has an impact outside of Toastmasters, and that's why we're really here. We're not here just to rack up points and awards and all that kind of stuff. Those are indicators of how we're growing and what we're doing to serve the mission of Toastmasters, which Dr. Smedley really was motivated to found, and over 100 years later, we're still doing it. It means that we're having an impact on the lives of individuals. And how powerful is that? So that's what we're trying to do. But if you apply qualitative analysis and your club is not fulfilling its missions, what are your options? If your club has become, for lack of a better term, a zombie.
Now, Brendan, enough of your good cop flibberty gibber. Let me bad cop for a minute or two. What if you don't want a club coach? Well, you might not want a club coach even if you're eligible for one. It could be you're in denial. Everything is fine as is. No reason to make radical changes. Everything will work out on its own. Or maybe you're naturally optimistic. Things may be wonky, but you're sure your fellow members are ready to pull the club up by its bootstraps. Remember, though, one definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Or it could be just plain hubris. Only you can see the problems. Only you can fix the problems. Only you understand them. Outsiders will never grasp the je ne sais quoi of your club. The truth is, even well run, successful clubs benefit from an outsider's perspective. A coach can gently point out areas of strength and opportunities for improvement. Often, the problems are apparent to the members, but they aren't comfortable discussing them as a group. Take the pressure and angst away from your members by inviting an objective coach to help you find your way back to success. Isn't that right, Brendan?
Absolutely, sir. And when we talk about the whole process of consulting, coaching, advising, there's many ways it's done throughout the world, but I'm very proud of what Toastmasters has put together. And they, a few years ago, refined what they do with their club coaching process. Now, this is how they define a club coach. So, a coach is an experienced Toastmaster who partners with a club to help rebuild membership and restore quality to member experience. Quality to member experience. Remember, we can measure certain things and put numbers on certain things, but it's all about the quality and how fantastically we fulfill that mission. One focus of the club coach is to help the club achieve recognition in the Distinguished Club Program. Now, a club coach must be an active member in good standing with Toastmasters International, having maintained an active membership in any club other than the club to be coached for a minimum of 1 year. Now, the club coach must have completed level 2 in any Pathways path or achieved an Advanced Communicator Bronze (ACB) or Advanced Leadership Bronze (ALB) designation in the traditional education program, which was here before Pathways. Now, the club coach must have served as a club officer for 1 program year or 2 separate 6-month stints as a club officer. And also must have completed the club coach training module, more on that later, and must not be coaching any other club. That club coach is going to be focused on you. On top of all this, it's very important that the club coach is not a member of your club when they start, and they shouldn't really be associated with your club. Why? We want that fresh perspective. We don't want them to say, "Oh, I'm afraid to say something because I'm friends with 5 of these people who were part of this club before I became the club coach." We want that freshness, that new look at what's going on in the club. Now, club coaches can, if necessary, be former members of an eligible club so long as they've not been a member of that club for a minimum of 6 months. That being said, me as club coach coordinator, I would try to dissuade anybody from going back to an old club to coach them. Again, we want that fresh perspective. Now, for tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about this protocol 2.3 on club coaching, and this is available on the Toastmasters website. Just going to go through it lightly, not going to read it word for word. With that being said, this is available for you, but there's something that's a little bit easier for anybody who's interested in being a club coach or having a club coach come to their club. And we'll get to that in the next slide. Now, club coach, club requesting coaching must have between 3 and 12 active members in good standing. And they must not currently be suspended. And here's the thing, at least one club officer must have completed the club coach training module. What's that, you asked, Dennis? Well, I'm glad you did, because that is available in Pathways. This training module can be found right there where you go to get your Pathways information. And personally, I think it's a well-designed online course, which you can take in about 20, 30 minutes. It reminds me of some of the online courses that I've taken at work, and whole online training has gotten better and better over time. And I really find this to be very effective and well worth your time. Again, it's well done. One of your club officers, at the very least, has to complete this. But I would encourage all club officers to do this. Get great information and how Toastmasters is taking club coaching, I think, to the next level, some recent changes. This will show you what's going on there, give you some good information there as well. Now, eligible clubs and prospective coaches may approach the district director to request the appointment of a club coach to a given club. I would recommend that you would come to me and I would reach out to the district director, make sure everything's lined up. But if you go straight to the district director, that's fine as well. Now, once that's done, the district director arranges a meeting between the eligible club, a qualified club coach candidate, and either the district director, program quality director, or club growth director. Now, as you can see from those titles of those roles, we got some high-powered people involved. This indicates the seriousness of club coaching, and we want to do it right. And we don't want it just to have a happenstance saying, oh, we got a breathing person over there. Congratulations, you're coaching, downtown Toastmasters. No, we want it to be a good fit, and we want the perspective of one of our 3 district leaders in there as well. So that's a very important meeting to go and say, is there a connection? We may give you a potential club coach, and you meet that person, you're like, that person isn't going to fit here. Great, we know that. So you know that the club coach is not a good fit for whatever reason. Good, then that person's not going to waste their time, which in a situation will lead to failure. We want this interview, we want this discussion, and once that goes on and everybody feels that this is a good fit, then the meaning is to fill out the club coach agreement form, a formal form, get it, formal form. And then once all parties have agreed to the specific terms of the club coach agreement, the document is sent to World Headquarters for final approval and filing. This is an important step. Once again, we're taking up these steps and we're making them more formal because we want to make sure that this is the right fit and everybody agrees. And it goes not just to the district director, it goes to Toastmasters International. We want to make sure that this works, and that degree of formality indicates how serious Toastmasters International and the district and our club growth organization within the district takes club coaching. Now, once this confirmation has been received, club coaching may begin. Until Toastmasters International says, yes, we have the form, you're ready to go, club coaching cannot start. Again, that's a specific step that needs to be taken to make sure that everybody is in alignment. Once that's going, you're off and running. Now, I want to talk about timing for this one. We're holding this particular session now because the October dues have been collected and the late stragglers have probably come in, and people with clubs between 3 and 12 active members who are not suspended can say, you know what, we do need coaching. We're not going to grow. And they can say, let's get coaching, let's get some help. If you have 13 members, you won't qualify. If you only have 2, you won't qualify for this. So we want to make sure that we got those numbers aligned and they're realistic. As you know, some people don't pay their dues always on time, and we've got that there. So that's why we're bringing this now. Now, we invite you to request a club coach soon. Once you have one officer do the training, and please do this quickly because we want to start the process and have your club coach approved by the end of December at the latest. I'd rather have early December because the real goal of the club coach is to get you back to distinguished status by the end of this Toastmasters year, June 30th, 2026. This is a win-win. Excuse me, that's a win-win-win. course, it's a win for the club because you will have renewed momentum in moving towards growth, and you might not yet be at charter strength at the end of this Toastmasters year, but you'll be on your way. Again, you just have to show growth of 5 new members at the end to show that you can be distinguished. With that, you're going to be moving forward into 26-27 Toastmasters year with momentum. We want that, and that's our goal as a district. Toastmasters International, I want to make sure your club doesn't just disappear on us, and we want to turn it around. But for the club coach itself, it's important because the club coach receives specific credit once they get their club up to distinguished status. Now, if they do not, they can stick around for another 12 months for a total commitment of 18 months and get the club up to distinguished status. But we want to make it a 6-month commitment because we're probably going to need those club coaches for other positions within our new district. So that is why we want everything ready to go by the end of December. That's what we're pushing for. And we want to set up our clubs for success, but we also want to set up our club coaches for success. With that, I want to see if there's any questions. Let me just check if anybody else did join. No, just us 3 magical people. So Carrie, I'm going to go to you. Do you have any questions?
Do you get any training on how to be a coach? The first time I was a club coach, there wasn't a lot of training and I was just kind of thrown in.
Yeah, that online module in Pathways is excellent. But in addition to that, my role as club coach coordinator would be to work with the club coaches who have been assigned and support them during the rest of this Toastmaster year. So that's how we want to do it. And the training of by necessity is generic. But when you get into a specific club, you're going to find certain things and need certain recommendations to do what you need to do. So we want to support you once you get in.
Oh, okay. So the coaches work together. Coaches from other club?
Yeah, I would hope so. I want to create an informal support group where we can meet once a month and discuss things, and you know, you can reach out to me as a primary form of support to make that happen.
Okay.
But yeah, please do the Pathways Club Coaching module. Again, 20 to 30 minutes. I think it's excellent. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now,
Dennis,
Brendan,
yeah.
if a club qualified to get a coach, even if they felt that they were on the right track and they were rebuilding on their own, would it not be a mitzvah for them to find a club coach, bring them in for the benefit of the club coach so that they can work toward their Distinguished Toastmaster Award? Even if they don't feel they need the coach, working with the coach would actually be mutually beneficial, don't you think?
I I see a lot of clubs that need club coaches. And if somebody is qualified to be a club coach and there's a club that says we want a coach, then I would trust it that they need a club coach when there's other clubs that also need a club coach. There's always timing and location. We have certain people who are not geographically located near a club. So if a club is in person only certain club coaches would fit that bill. There may be timing, day of the week issues that conflict with a coach's availability. So again, I'm not going to deny anybody, but I think based on the need, if a club doesn't need a coach, I would hope that they wouldn't grab one. But if they want one, I will trust them and say, hey, they want to make sure they get to distinguished and they think a club coach will help. We want distinguished clubs. We want clubs between 3 and 12 to grow beyond where they are right now and have momentum for the next Toastmaster year. So there's no objection. just trying to find the right balance. Does that make sense to you, Mr. Dawson, sir?
Well, I was trying to find a sneaky way to encourage clubs that qualify for a coach to understand that they could use a coach.
Oh,
Any
yeah.
club that's between 3 and 12
Yeah.
members could really use a coach.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to do it for their own benefit, then they can do it for the club coach's benefit as well.
Yeah.
It's a mutual benefit for all around and a mitzvah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You bring in, people bring in consultants to highly profitable, well-run organizations because they want continuous improvement, and having a coach help, a club that may have some momentum now might get additional momentum and build for the future. So there's no objection from me.
Hmm.
And I appreciate your sneaky intent.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And speaking of sneaky, I have to sneak out, as you know. I appreciate your putting on this session. I think it was marvelous. I think you're brilliant. Carrie, thank you so much for being the audience.
You're welcome.
Yes. And I will see you soon.
Thank you,
Okay,
Dan.
bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. And Carrie, just want to see if you have any other questions or comments.
Um, well, yeah, I remember a couple of years ago, Cynthia Stott was Gold Achievers Club coach, and I was helping her kind of go through this process, and we got up to distinguish, and then that's when she had her stroke and had to, step back. She's doing much better now.
Yes. Excellent.
I'm in contact with her, and she has improved tremendously. But I have let's see, I have questions on how to coach, because I got feedback from, I was Sunrise's coach about 4 years ago, and then after that, after 2 years, we finally got to be distinguished, and then I joined Toastmasters, Sunrise, and I've been there for several years, and I got the uh, feedback that, well, I didn't have any training, and that that I didn't really do enough. And I said, well, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I thought I was there. I was moral support. I was a cheerleader. I
Mhm.
was talking to people, but I didn't, they told me that I had the one thing I did was it had the legacy program, and I encourage people to get credit for taking their roles so they can get the what the leadership award, the old leadership award. But so it like so I don't know quite know what besides being a cheerleader, what to do.
Yeah. And since that experience, you've been an area director and you've been a division director, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things that makes you even more prepared to be a coach, the fact that you had an experience of being a coach already, and now you want to do it again, get the credit and everything, is the leadership of the consulting of especially an area director who goes into a club and says, hey, let's take a look at what you're doing now and how you can get better. And, that was the club visit report, is a guide that I think any coach could use to say,
Mm-hmm.
here's what you should be doing. And here's what the wisdom of Toastmasters International says healthy clubs do. And by asking those questions and inviting the club to do those items, that big checklist is a way of saying, hey, here's what you can do. Now, there's other things, I think part of the checklist also asks, what modules have you done? Moments of truth, especially, that takes a whole
Mm-hmm.
meeting away from the club, but it's very helpful, especially for clubs that are in distress. And then there's other aspects that you can do to say, hey, okay, we have to make sure that we're doing pathways. If we're not doing pathways, we're not doing Toastmasters. And there's some transition from old crusty Toastmasters like myself who, learned on a different educational program, But making the transition to Pathways, and as I say, that is Toastmasters. If you're in Toastmasters, you're doing Pathways. If you're not doing Pathways, you're not in Toastmasters. So challenging that. Again, I think that's becoming less and less of a problem as, clubs adopt and get used to Pathways. So, those are the types of big things that you can just say, here's what we should be doing. We highly recommend this, this, and this. And so I think that's important. And again, the experience is the experience you've had since the last time you've been coaching, I think would enhance your ability to do the job.
I have a question. I'm in two clubs that have between 5 and 15 members, or maybe average about 12 members, um, for about 10 years, and we can't get to 20 members. It's like, and it's been very, very frustrating. We've tried open houses, we've tried social media, we've tried, everything. I mean, Goal Achievers had a few new members. We're getting guests though, but it is improving, but it's exhausting to be in a club with 10 to 15 members for that long.
Yeah. And every case is unique, and that's why you assign
Yeah.
a club coach with a fresh perspective to say, oh, I think it's something that you're not doing that my the club of which I'm a regular member is doing and doing well, and getting those new members or converting those members to guests, or just getting people in here. And again, you're doing a lot of things right. You're doing a lot of things like having the open house, getting guests and everything. And then what do you need to do to convert those guests to members? Always a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also recognize that things are still impacted by how our organization, and in fact, our world has been impacted by COVID.
Yes.
How we're doing that. So you're coming out here and you're saying, hey, that didn't work in 2023 or 2024. Maybe it might work again in 2025 or 2026, as things are still settling to a certain degree. And again, every situation is different, but I think if you approach it that way, you're saying there's some wisdom there in the club visit report that maybe didn't work 2 years ago, but will work this year or in January.
Yeah, I'm finding I'm getting some burnout because the new members need to be nurtured, and there's so few members, and then already, and we're doing other things. We're doing officers roles within the club, plus district, officer roles, and this and that, and we don't have the time or the energy to nurture them, and a few of them have just stopped coming. And I feel that I have to start focusing on nurturing the new people, or we have to start focusing on that more.
Yeah. And are you talking about assigning mentors and people get burnt out because too much mentoring is required?
Well, sometimes, well, like for example, there's uh, about a couple of months ago, there was a young man who joined one of my Toastmaster clubs.
Mm-hmm.
He was or was thinking of joining. He attended many meetings, a couple of meetings. He had a couple of roles and really excited about it. And I was doing other things. I'm not the growth or the membership or whatever, but we dropped the ball and forgot to follow up with him, and he stopped coming.
Yep. Yep. And that's a point of education, a point of wisdom for your club. Now, that situation is probably a lost cause to go back to that young individual, but you've learned, hey, we need to follow up, we need to connect, we need to nurture that lead right? Just like if you're in sales, and I know you know sales,
Yeah.
but you have to take that lead, somebody has an interest, and connect with them. So closing the deal is something you've been doing uh, a lot in your professional life. And again, those principles apply. And you coming in as a club coach, just being able to apply some of those similar sales principles based on your experience at work, I think that's a gift. And you know,
Yeah, because you're right. I started thinking of the coach from a sales perspective,
yeah,
because before we are thinking of for like a non-profit perspective, we're a club, take it or leave it.
yeah,
No, you can't. The prospect is your customer.
yes, absolutely. And I'm in two clubs that have some degree of struggling with membership, but I'm appreciative of the quality of our meetings. However, one club does not have a VPE. Uh, the position is not filled. It's vacant right now. The person who signed up to do it got busy at work, which happens.
Hmm.
And that VPE makes a huge difference
Hmm.
in membership, in terms of the quality of the membership experience and getting a mentor, making sure that a person's paired up with a mentor that fits. And those are the types of things that will keep people going. And you can offer that as part of the sales process. You say, here's what it costs, cheap. Yeah, I mean, come on, right? 20 bucks one-time fee and maybe 72 club and international dues altogether. Such a deal for 6 months.
Hmm.
They're not going to object to that. What they're going to object is, one, I'm not feeling comfortable with speaking. My boss told me to get my butt here and everything. And so you make them feel comfortable by saying, hey, we have a mentorship program. Ideal, that person you can reach out to in between meetings, at meetings, and get that feedback. And they'll explain some of the things that we do and why we do that. If you do not have, and I heard this in your explanation, that some of the experienced members are feeling a little bit burnt out. Maybe you don't have enough people to mentor all the new
Mm.
people, right? And
Right.
that would be a problem. Hey, you got a bunch of new people. Like, oh, pooh, what do we do now, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so you might do some things that are what I would call mentorship as a whole, as a group, and the successful club series from the old methods. I still would use that because those modules are so well done, so succinct, and
Hmm.
you're training some of the new people, but I bet you some of the old people don't have the wisdom of that club success program. And of course, then you'll also do moments of truth. And Toastmasters, I believe, recommends it twice a year. That's a lot because it's, as I say, it takes a whole meeting and people discuss stuff. Uh, I would try and do it once a year if possible. And then you get some action items out of that exercise as well. So, just some of those options, like making sure everybody understands our little Toastmasters world, our little Toastmasters vocabulary.
Hmm.
Those are important things that a mentor can do, or maybe the club chooses to do for the entire club, including the new members, making sure everybody's on the same page with what the Toastmasters say. Hey, this is why we're doing what we're doing. Why do we have a role of Toastmasters? Why don't we just have prepared speeches? What is table topics? Why do we do table topics? And what's an evaluation speech? I don't get it. What's the point? And there's going to be questions and all the roles we do, and the Toastmasters wears many hats. And then another thing that I think gets new members excited is they see that there's opportunities for growth outside the club as well.
Hmm.
I can train officers. I can become a trainer. That would be great for me at work to have training experience. I can lead a conference, and that is something that a lot of people uh, can do outside at their regular jobs. I know I once was a TLI chair, and 2 years later, I led a conference for my department and we had a great time. And it was great for me in terms of my review that year as an employee. So there's
That's
these
wonderful.
opportunities that you just want to highlight and say, hey, you're a new member. You can do this, you can do this, you can learn this, you can do this, and get them excited about stuff within the club and maybe even beyond the club. And again, everything is situational. So you come in
Yeah.
with a fresh perspective and say, oh, you guys are already on Pathways. I don't need to challenge you to be better on Pathways. I need to say, let's get a mentorship program going for our new members. And you see that gap and you challenge them, advise them, right? You're not in charge, but you advise them to get a formal mentorship program going.
Yeah. In my clubs, we don't have a formal mentorship program. We just, someone agrees to do it, and then, um, but it's, I think people are too overextended in our clubs.
Yeah, yeah,
And we're not focusing on the new members, and they're falling through the cracks, and that's
yep.
what I feel that
That does not surprise me one bit.
and and I'm thinking, we're doing all this stuff to get new members, but we're not nurturing the members that we have, and that doesn't make sense, really. I'm beginning to think of that, because
Mhm.
I'm trying to analyze what's going wrong in our club.
Yeah, that's good. And again, that makes, obviously internal consultant, right? You're doing that, and the analysis you're doing on your own club will make you a better coach when you go out and coach another club. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm asked to do a open house speech on April Fool's Day, and I'm trying to come up with, I know that's a good day and I'm trying to come up with ideas of what to say
Mhm, mhm.
from there too. So this is talking about, this is all good ideas too, about, you know, I was so honored to be asked. I was asked in the summer and I said yes. Now I'm going, why did I say yes? It's like,
They got you well too far in advance. You're booked into next year already. That's a
booked it
good
to
sign.
next year.
The burdens of popularity, Carrie. There you go. Nice. Well, that's great discussion. And we have more time if you want to discuss anything else.
Oh yes. Yeah, because I do have a lot of what I wanted to discuss is just how to make, um, you know in one of my clubs we got two coaches, and they gave a wonderful PowerPoint about, they researched the history of our club. They said, this, we're going to do this, this, and this. They had a PowerPoint. There's this and everything, and we're all excited. And they got overextended, and they haven't showed up yet.
Yep.
And
Yep.
these are the coaches.
Yeah. These are the coaches. Yeah. And I think that's going to happen in our world, as you know, everybody
Yes,
does know that. And
and
that's one reason we try to get two coaches, because we can make sure that somebody's already there. Sounds like these two were working together, wanted to coach together, and then got busy together with not being their availability to continue to support. And yeah, ideally, we would have two coaches. What I see right now in terms of need within the district, I would doubt we would be able to, give many clubs two coaches, but it's always an option. And sometimes somebody will say, "Oh, that's a Zoom club that meets, Mondays at 4 p.m. I can make that." And then you say, "Well, there's two of you. You can do it. We'll sign it, and if there's an agreement, I'll make that happen." But you're absolutely right. Everybody gets busy. Everybody has good intentions, and as a club coach, you don't judge that. You just say, "Hey, I thought we had a mentorship program. That's one of the key things I would recommend that you do first. Make sure the mentorship program is up and running so that those new members don't disappear on." you know.
Yeah,
That's a
because
big leap.
that's what I like. But that it's just burnout. We're all getting really exhausted about doing things, and we want to get to work together to do things better.
Mhm. Mhm. Without a doubt, and trying to find the right balance. Again, I would go back to not trying to do things with individual new members, but just doing it with the group.
Hmm.
This is knowledge. Some of you probably have some experience. Toastmasters have been in for a while. They might have heard it before, but even if they have, they most likely forgot it already. And to hear some of the stuff that makes a successful club work, it doesn't would do any harm, and it would benefit especially the new members to understand why we do what we do. And just moving forward with that, I think might be the way to get some momentum going and taking the burden away from saying, oh, I have to spend, some time with a mentee. No, uh, do it as a group and everybody benefits, and maybe saves some people from getting burnt out.
Yeah, that's a good to do it as a group because you know we're getting with Goal Achievers. We're getting guests now, and we've gotten a few members in now. So things are going, but it's slow, but but
Yeah.
and then there's like my other club, which isn't a club yet. It is Time Travelers, a genealogy club,
Mhm.
which is a good club, and we're trying to get the 20 members to be a club.
And that's Zoom only club, right?
Yes.
So again, you have a lot more options.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, as you know, Toastmasters is kind of influencing how the clubs work and encouraging face-to-face meetings, which I totally understand, but that doesn't preclude certain specialty clubs being Zoom on. So, yeah,
Yeah, I have two Zoom clubs and one hybrid. So,
yeah,
and sometimes the hybrid, there's only 3 people in the room.
yeah, yeah. I do find that some of our recent guests have said, I don't want to meet on Zoom. I want to meet in person. I think there's a hunger out there for people to gather in person. So I'm not surprised that sometimes the Zoom stuff doesn't attract as much as you would think it is because it's convenient, right? You don't have to drive
Yeah.
there. You can be from outside of the district geographically, but I think people want to be in person.
Yeah. Yeah. But the problem with Sunrise is that it's at 7 a.m.
I'm a dedicated night owl, so I'm very disturbed by your bad language right there. You said 7 a.m., right?
Yeah,
That's a
7
that's naughty, naughty. I don't even think about that. Uh,
I
but
I know.
there are morning people out there, right? And so it's going to work perfectly for them, and that's a great service to Toastmasters and the district to have an early morning club because there are early morning people who
Mhm.
are at the top of their game at 7 a.m. They've been awake since 4, and then I want to go. I go to
Uh,
sleep at 4. So again, if you can make it go, that's great. But you have to make sure that people are aware of it as an option and super super people. Now, is that a 90-minute club or an hour club?
hour and 15 minutes.
Hour and 15 minutes. So
7 to 8:15.
yeah,
The funny thing is that that was the club. I was the club coach, and I'm not a morning person, so I've had to make myself become a morning person just to do it.
you're better than me. That's all I can say because I could not make myself do that at all. No, that would not happen.
But I've got to the point where some days I didn't sleep. I just did a all-nighter and went to the club
Yeah.
because of once I went to go to sleep, I couldn't get up. So I thought,
Yeah,
just go overnight, you know?
yeah, that's just 7 a.m. is bad words for me. But again, appreciate that and what you learned and the fact that you're still trying to help them grow. I think there is a market for that. There are people who will want that service, but the club quality has to be excellent. You have to have enough morning people who are actually awake when they get there, right? And take care of it, make sure all the logistics work. You have to make sure that you start and finish on time.
Yeah, we
Morning
do.
club or a noon club, you don't have any options there. Evening clubs have a little more flexibility with timing, but especially in a morning club, you have to end by 7:15, excuse me, 8:15, or that club will die because there's people who are like, I gotta go. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
but there's so much you can do with that, and I'm sure there are people who want Toastmasters at that time. It wouldn't work for them to do lunch or evening or weekend, but having
Yeah.
that available, that's great.
What's really great about it is that Daniel and Nethika and Jasmine from Sri Lanka are in those clubs because it's nighttime for them.
Yes, that's right.
So
So
it's perfect for them. So
yeah, so just having those options there can fill certain things along the way. Absolutely right.
yeah, and they need the club to be district officers because they need to be in a district club. So
That's right.
this is one of the reasons why Sue and I are working hard to make this club go because you know it's needed.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's yeah. In terms of hope and optimism, yeah, that's my default mode. But I do know there's people who appreciated morning clubs, and it's been throughout Toastmasters, morning, noon, and nighttime clubs have all had their markets. There's a group of people who appreciate those different times and the availability and the convenience that fits their schedule. And I think there's still a market for people who would like to do Toastmasters but could only do it in the morning, and they love mornings, so they'll show up. That's a breakfast club as well, right?
No, no, it's not. It,
Oh,
it it meets at Golden State Lumber, and we have a wonderful conference room
oh wow.
that they're letting us do for free. So that's another reason why we're keeping it because we don't have to pay rent,
Yeah.
and we have a great conference room with a great system. Before we lost people because it was Microsoft Teams, and then we learned that you could do Zoom on that too. So we're back
Yeah.
to Zoom. So it
Yeah. Yeah, those are very interesting. I'm surprised. Champagne breakfast. Have you visited Champagne breakfast? I think
I've
there's
heard
one.
about them. I've never visited them, but they were at the Art and Ride Festival. A few of the people.
Yeah, I would, if you have time, I believe it's still Friday mornings. I would check it out and see what they do. Because I don't think they're a breakfast club either, but I think they bring food in. Uh, you know, and again, it all depends on what you can do. And if you're at Golden Skate, and this is near Willow Pass, right?
It's close to it. It's off of Diamond, so it's
I
about around the. It's
know that one. So
around two blocks from Denny's, up
yeah,
and to the right on the
yeah.
corner.
And again, we use the Denny's for my Sunday night clubs. But if you, I don't know if breakfast would make a difference. That maybe that Denny's has availability for their conference room at that time, and we have hybrid meetings there. Obviously, it
Mhm.
takes a little bit of setup, but we have hybrid meetings there on Sunday nights. Maybe a breakfast club would work for you. Again, that
We
has to spend a little money. You have to meet a certain commitment for amount of money, but that's the kind of thing. I'm
yeah
surprised that you're not a breakfast club because.
we we tried being a breakfast club and it just did not work. I
Yeah.
mean, it just, we were wasting money because we bring food and no one would show up. Oh,
Yeah, the advantage of doing that at Denny's is people buy their own stuff as well. Hey, I think this recording might end soon, so I'm just going to finish up and thank you for this great side discussion. And
oh,
just
thank you very much.
hey, no, just and again, we're looking at this thing of consulting, advisors, coaches. It's a big thing because it works. It's worked throughout history. Is it perfect? No, but we want to make it available. And you might not need a club coach. You might get what you need from area director, division director, etc., within the district to help a club go. But we would really recommend that you try for a club coach. And a club coach has certain requirements, but the club has requirements as well in terms of getting that club coach agreement, making sure that you all meet together and are on the same page before things start, and that everybody's done the training in pathways for doing a club coach, and you need at least one officer to be available. And if you have between 3 and 12 members, you're eligible for a club coach if you've done that training as well. So those are some important things that you check out. In terms of timing, we're trying to get this all done before the end of December so a club coach can get their credit that they need, and so that the club can get great momentum by the end of the year to be distinguished, and then use that momentum to continue to grow in the next Toastmaster year. So that's what this is all about. And I just want to end with my favorite quote on coaching. This is from Tom Landry. He was a great coach for the Dallas Cowboys. I know some people who don't like the Dallas Cowboys, but this quote is really good. Really, coaching is simplicity. It's getting players to play better than they think they can. Carrie, I hope you get a chance to help Toastmasters to speak better than they think they can. Thank you for your time, and I can't wait to get you into a new coaching assignment.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I hope it, because my crazy retail schedule is going to be different, but thank you.
Yeah. After Christmas, right? Thanks so much, Carrie.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Bye bye.